Like it's just really, yeah. I mean, I need to learn from, from someone who can just go, here I am. This is
Nope, it's fine
this is
because
what
your
I've done. It's
strategy is
just,
working right now.
yeah.
So, you know, um, so now in that respect, regarding the brand yourself, you came to us and you wanted us to get a logo done. This is what I'm trying to get back to this essence of it. You want the
I'm
logo
sorry. I
done.
just wanted to talk to you in the
No, I
atmosphere.
loved it. We loved
So,
everything you just said. It's beautiful. Like,
joking.
it's gonna connect with a lot of people, a lot of women too. But when you came to us for the branding, what was the idea? And because not only did you want your name to be like a brand, as it is your full name, but you also wanted to have a slogan. Can you tell the viewers in terms of what the idea was behind it as well? Because I can say what it is, but I want you to explain why you chose that, because it makes sense to me, but I want you to come from you because there's going to be probably more substance to it.
So, um, from a branding perspective, at that time when I reached out to you guys,
Mm.
I was doing a lot of writing, but specifically family-friendly travel. I mean, and that was a time in my life that I just enjoyed it so much. I traveled a lot with my daughter,
Mm.
so that was the reason for wanting branding because that was becoming more and more serious. But the probably the most memorable moment of my life is the very first time that I held my daughter and someone asked me, "How are you? Or how are you feeling?" And I looked at her and I said, "Life is Rosie." And her name is Rosalie, and we call her Rosie for short. And that became, my reason for being. Life is Rosie. It's like everything that I do ends with hashtag Life is Rosie. Like, and it's my reason for everything, for existence, for drive, for perseverance, for resilience, for focus, for strategy. It's centered around, my commitment and my dedication to my daughter. And I didn't have an idea in my head of how I wanted branding or logo or all of that to look, but I felt like you guys just understood my essence, and something so small literally brought tears to my eyes, because even literally you would think of it and be like, oh, really, she got emotional about that. But just something as little as my name, my R, my initials are RR, my daughter's initials are RR, to have how you designed the small R within the big R.
Mm.
I felt that alone made me feel like you captured the essence of
Mm.
everything that matters to me
Mm.
in that one little figure.
Mm.
Like,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
yeah.
All right. Thank you for explaining that. That was beautiful. So throughout all of your career, this 20-year career you've had, it's been up and down. You've had loads of challenges. What would you say has been like your biggest triumph or your biggest win, or something that you look back on and go, yeah, that was a pivotal moment?
Um, I've been so fortunate to have so many awesome clients over the years, and I'm so happy that I've been associated with, worked for, been invited to work for brands that I believe in and I personally enjoyed, like, so being able to say that, you know, to date, I feel like I'm proud of myself for handling my career with a sense of integrity.
Mm.
That's a big overarching moment. I mean, like, there are little snippets of, seeing my face on a billboard for a first time, certain TV shows, certain, you know what I mean? Like things like that that give you a quick ego boost,
Mm.
right? But I would say that the thing that I value the most is I was actually asked to various stages in my career to speak to school kids, and I specifically enjoy teens, because in those teen years they're trying to figure out so many different things, and a lot of the questions that they had over the many school talks that I gave was, how do you, everybody tells me I have to choose one thing. You can't do multiple things. You have to choose one thing, you master it, and then you move on to the next thing. And it's almost like you have to have your whole life figured out. um, um, from that very early age. And if there's anything that I feel I wanted to contribute to them and my daughter and other people is, that you don't have to. Like, I don't have it all figured out all the time. I do have vision, I have passion, I have strategy, but at the same time, I tried many different things throughout my career. And the ability to transform yourself and go from, okay, modeling to presenting, from silence to speaking,
Mm.
that's a jump. Do you know what I mean? To then being a spokeswoman, okay, that's another jump, all while I was studying as well, like making a baby and then deciding, oh, okay, this is great. You finally have the stability that you've been looking for your whole life. Everybody's told me I'm crazy. I'm going to now move to the Caribbean and try something completely different. What's your plan, Rach? Oh, I don't have a plan. It just sounds wonderful. you know, like, but I knew that somehow, you know, my perseverance and my commitment to success, whatever that means for myself and my family, was going to carry me through. And it has, and it is, you know, like, so I forgot your original question. I'm going off
It's all good.
on it, right?
We're just asking
You know, like, what
your
is the
biggest win so
my
far.
biggest win? Transforming myself, going with the times, accepting myself for who I am and what I don't know, I committed to learn, and not only learn, master.
Okay. There you
Is that
have it.
okay?
That's beautiful. I have no more questions for you.
What? I'm
I,
enjoying this. Don't go.
I'm not ending it. I have no more
Okay.
questions on that, but I'm gonna go back into it. So when we started talking, you brought up like when you bring up the model stuff and the music video stuff, you cringe a little bit. I didn't know that. I thought you might go, oh yeah, that's part of me, but you was like it's almost like another person. And so then it looks like it's chapters. If I'm thinking about it, it's different chapters of your life. And I never thought of it once in that 1 second when you said it. And I'm just thinking, no, that's interesting because I never perceived it as that. I thought you might go, oh yeah, but he was like, oh, ooh. So how different is the person doing the modeling Rachel to the Rachel now? Is there a big difference between the two?
So I just want to tell you a story first that just came to mind, right? I think I showed Rosie, what was it? I think it was the 50 Cent video that you're talking about. And Rosie's words were like, Mommy, who is that man and why is he touching you? And I was like, babe, you just hit the nail on the head. Why? And the major question, like, why? It's like, yeah, these are the things that people get most like excited about. Whereas my daughter was like, ew, why is that? And don't get me wrong,
Wow.
for those who hasn't seen it, it's not like an intense thing. It's
Yeah.
just we're just standing close and dancing
Yeah.
together. So it wasn't, you know what I mean,
Mm,
anything compromising.
mm,
But seeing it through her eyes, I'm like, yeah, you're right. Why? And the question is, I'm not ashamed of it, but it is just interesting to see how, the
mm,
decisions that you make when you're young. Hey, here's another life lesson for you. They will haunt you forever. Not that this is haunting me, but be mindful of
mm,
what you do when you're young. Even I see people with like massive tattoos on like all parts of their body. I'm like, yeah, how are you going to look picking up your grandson from nursery like in 20, 30 years time? Like, think about it. If you're cool with that, then by all means, it's your
mm,
body, it's your decision, go for it. But too many people make decisions in the moment. Like,
mm.
yeah, in that moment, it's all great. But, what does that mean in 20 years time? Like, so like I
Yeah.
said, nothing I'm ashamed of, because I made different decisions at different stages in my career, in my life,
Mm,
and it was who I was at every step of that way, and
mm.
that's just fine. But I wouldn't do it again.
All right. Cool.
What
Yeah.
did you ask me? I
No,
told
that's
you the
fine. That
story,
was the
but I
right
don't remember
answer.
your question.
I'm just
I
thinking
can't
for
remember your
someone
question.
that's watching this that's probably maybe doing modeling or casting at the moment. Is there any advice you would give them for that? I know that's another part of your life. You're in a new chapter now, but going back
Yeah,
there, is there
no,
any
I mean,
advice?
like, it's it's not easy now, because every single person in the world is and can easily be a model, because you have Instagram, people have millions of followers based on makeup or whatever it may be,
Mm,
like whatever the
mm,
topic is, they can have millions of followers and not really do any modeling or use that to then do paid sponsored posts or things like that. So there's so many different ways to do it now, like that. There is no conventional way anymore. It's
mm,
about being creative and being, you know, if this is what you believe is the right thing for you, being committed to your purpose. But what I do love, what I'm seeing for so many, even girlfriends that I have, like they have their vision and there's so much about female empowerment,
mm,
like, I mean, or that's just the stuff I'm focusing on because I'm not watching the other stuff. So to me, it sounds like there's so much out there about embracing your bodies and like believing in yourself and female empowerment and how girls have to stick together. And I love that stuff,
mm,
I love it.
mm.
And then there's other ones who are like, oh, this could be higher, this could be wider, this could. And then I get paranoid. I'm like, no, 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 go back to the other stuff. Like, so you have to choose what you're watching as well. So
Yeah.
advice for them, if this is truly what you believe is meant to be, it's not going to be conventional because there is no convention anymore.
Mm,
Like, it's not about going to castings so much. There is still an element of that,
mm,
but you're going to castings with hundreds of people. How do you sustain a career? The average model, yes, many models do, you know make it and they do well. Sorry, it's noisy in the background, hope you could still hear me. Yeah. Like, yeah, just keep pushing, don't give up.
yeah. All right. I hear that. My original question I asked you before you told me the Rosie story was the difference between Rachel now and the lady in the video.
difference between Rachel now?
Is there a massive growth between the two? What would you, and also let me add this in,
Immensely.
what would you, if you could give yourself advice, Rachel now, to Rachel, yeah, Rachel when I met you, what would you say?
Good question. What would I say? Advice to Rachel then. My biggest hurdle in life has been confidence and growing my self-esteem. I
Oh,
know that will come as a surprise, maybe being a model, um, but that has been my biggest challenge. And seeking that validation externally from other people, from the jobs you book, from, whatever is happening outside of yourself.
mm,
Um, Rachel now is more aware of this.
mm,
So it's a constant, it's a daily kind of like, keep going, push through, because it's like everyone in every stage of your life, you have people get jealous and they take their jealousy further or not further. And because sometimes they don't have context, right? You
mm,
see a picture on the beach and you're like, oh, she doesn't do anything. And I'm like, couldn't be any further from the truth. I
mm,
work super long hours. I work very hard, especially in a new field that is not my background.
mm,
To harness that and master that takes hard work.
mm,
Like I might post a picture on the beach or picture of Rosie. It looks like we don't do anything, but have fun all day and all night.
mm,
But a lot of hard work goes into it. A lot of self-educating, both emotionally
mm,
and learning to be resilient in a very male-dominated industry now.
mm,
Like learning that resilience and you know being better in my skill and better within myself and stronger as a mom. A lot
mm.
of reading and stuff like that. And yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, I think that's bringing us to a close, Rach. I think that's us
Okay.
finished. Okay. I'd just like to say thank you for your time. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. It was great to
Too.
know more
I
about.
miss our chats.
I know. So you don't say anything on air now. You say
Can
how
you tell
bad of
that
a
I'm
friend
holding
I
it
am.
in?
But yeah, we'll talk after this. But yeah, thank you for jumping
Oh,
on
you're
this
so
with me.
welcome. Thank you for having me.
No, it's been brilliant. It's been brilliant. And yeah, we'll catch up soon. And we wish you all the best in a new chapter of your career. And say
And
hello
I
to
wish you all the best as well as a genius and, branding expert. And,
yeah.
yeah, you've always shined so brightly. And, there's a reason why I stalked you and no one else in the Apple store. So I'm happy to see you, shining and growing and just doing amazing.
Oh.
And this is exactly what I love. You get so embarrassed and shy, and that's great. You're so wonderful.
All right, cool. Well, that's it, folks.